He stood in the position of army chief and the war started. In this war, all the great companions were present, whose names we hear repeatedly in ahadith and history. For example, Abu Zar Ghafari, Abu Huraira, Abdullah bin Umar, Abu Ayyub Ansari, and in the age of 70, Ammar bin Yasir, whose parents are the first martyrs of Islam. All of them were present in this war, and Abu Bakr, Umar and Usman's sons were also present in this war. On the first day of the war, August 15, 636 AH, 2 years had passed since the caliphate of Hazrat Umar. The Roman army had attacked the Muslims earlier due to the increase in numbers and fought for a long time. But on this day, both the armies did not suffer any major loss because both the armies were testing each other's strength and courage. And in the evening, both the armies returned to their positions. In this war, a Roman soldier, George, was also martyred. Because before the war, George had left the Roman army, accepted Islam and joined the Muslims. And on the first day of his Islam, he was martyred. On the second day of the war, the Roman Empire attacked the Muslims directly after the Fajr prayer to surprise the Muslims. But Khalid bin Walid already had an idea of all this. So before they reached, the Muslims were absolutely ready for the war. This time, the Romans attacked with full force. And after a little battle, on the right side of the Muslims, who were led by Ammar bin Az, there was so much pressure that they gradually moved back from the main line. And finally, they came so far back that they reached the camps of the Muslims, where the Muslim women and families were present. Because the Muslims had been living in the Roman Empire for the last 3 years. So with them, their families also left the Arabs and settled here. When these women saw that the Muslims were slowly moving back from the war, they lined up a lot of camels in front of their camps and almost made a wall, and they themselves picked up the sword and jumped into the war in front of the Roman Empire's army, which had never happened before. And some women started throwing stones at the Muslim men from their camps, and some started reciting such hymns so that the Muslim men would be ashamed of moving back from the war and they would move forward. And it worked. The Muslim army stopped moving back, and they stood strong in their place. And at the same time, Khalid bin Walid took his army and reached for the help of the Muslims on the right side. And then Ammar ibn Az and Khalid brought the army of the Roman Empire back together, and brought it back to the same place from where the war started. Now when the war was normal again, suddenly the Muslims on the left side, who were led by Yazid bin Abu Sufyan, could not bear it anymore, and they also slowly reached their camps in the same way, where once again, the Muslim women raised their swords, and joined the war against the Roman Empire, and the other women started throwing stones at the Muslims again, and started doing such poetry, in which the Muslim men were encouraged to move forward, and it is said that these women were not like the Muslims.